Alright, hey everyone, just wanted to do a quick little summary recap of some good points and then some questions that have popped up here recently. And as always, I feel unbelievably amazing, never going back to the old way of doing things. I hope we're learning a lot and taking a lot of good lessons away from this program, because I certainly have. Remember, the focus for these 2 weeks is the blood sugar testing, in addition to the previous goals, focusing on nutrient density and self-sufficiency and all that kind of stuff, fresh foods. Now on the sugar testing, I've been hearing some just powerful feedback on this stuff. I just cannot emphasize how important this is. If you're waking up with a 120 to 140 to 160 fasting blood sugar, like, that's a big deal. That's an issue. That's pre-diabetic to diabetic, So, and how valuable is the information to be able to know that and know that you need to adjust some things to get that number down. Like, I think it's just such powerful feedback. I look around and I watch people that are having issues with body composition and everything else, and I know that if they measured their blood sugar levels, they would start to get some immediate feedback and know that they need to change some things up. So if you have high fasting blood sugar levels, remember, that's an indicator for something. You need to change your previous day's behaviors, which means you need to go low carb. You need to experiment with the timing of meals. And a couple people came back with really high blood sugar levels in the morning, went low carb, stuck to the 2 meals a day in some space, and they're seeing some dramatic results. We're talking like getting numbers back down into the low 100s, fasting numbers in the middle of the day in the 70s and 80s, and that's just great. That's so powerful. What else? Oh, so, in the starch testing, so remember, we're doing the fasting glucose, which gives you an indicator for previous day's activities and how to change things up. We also want to test specific safe starches. And people are asking about how to time that in the day in addition to their meals and everything else. Just keep in mind, the goal of these 2 weeks is to do this testing, so you may have to sacrifice what might look like an optimal day in order to get this testing done. So that means, if I need to do my starch testing midday or something like that, ideally, we're not having carbs and sugars and things that early, but I mean, for the testing purposes, we need to do it. I'm trying to time mine around 3 o'clock in the afternoon so that my 2-hour mark is about 5 and I can eat my normal meal right after that. So maybe you want to try something like that, like fasting all day until, have your starch prepared until, something like 3 or 4 o'clock or something like that, and then you can do your blood sugar testing 2 hours later, log that number, and then have your meal afterwards. If you want to have a morning meal and then give yourself some space, test your blood sugar before testing the safe starch, and same thing, try to do it like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I think that's the best strategy, is trying to have that safe starch testing later in the day, so that because obviously if you did it first thing in the morning or early in the day, it may mess with your day and how you feel and your energy levels and mood and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so I think that's the best that I got for you guys right now. I know a couple people have some questions on how to use the glucometer. I'm going to try to put a video together. I got a pretty jammed morning today, but if I can this afternoon, I'll do that. But you could probably go on YouTube and just search for glucometer, look at put in your specific model, and I'm sure they'll have a little video on how to do that. Love you guys so much, hearing some good things about nutrient dense foods and people venturing into mussels and clams and oysters and all that kind of stuff. I love to hear that stuff. Remember, this is a powerful program because we're focused on nutrient density and superfoods that most people don't know about or don't think about or don't try to mess with. We're focused on nurturing self-sufficiency. We're focused on fresh foods and being pure with our real foods, and now we're bringing in this component of blood sugar, which should give us some really, really interesting and good feedback. Okay, if this doesn't answer your questions on the blood sugar testing, then just comment or send us a message and let us know so we can address it in a different way. Okay, love you guys so much. As always, we're always here for you. Thank you so much.